Hi everyone, this is Yana Smakula and thanks for joining me. Today I have a bright and colorful summer vacation card to share featuring latest release from Simon Says Stamp, The Good Vibes. I'm only going to use one stamp set for my project today. This is by far my current favorite set for summer. And whenever I have a stamp set that I absolutely adore, I try to use it as many times as I can before I put it down. And that's exactly the case with a Surf Sap stamp set that I used for my today's card. I also have another card and video featuring this stamp set to share with you on Friday as a part of Simon's blog hop, and then one more on Saturday as a part of my Yippee for Yana video series for Simon Says Stamp. So yes, I love this stamp set to pieces, and I've already used it to make something like 5 different cards, and I have plenty more ideas to try. Here are some of the cards that I already made using it, and you can also catch photos of these on my blog. This surfboard card is the one that I'll be sharing in a video on Friday, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to start working on my card by heat embossing the circle landscape image in white embossing powder onto white cardstock, and this is Neenah Solar White 110 pound. I usually like to use thinner 80-pound cardstock for my stamping, but because I knew that I would be doing heat embossing and later some ink blending, I wanted this cardstock to not warp, and hence I picked thicker paper. I'm using Hero Art's Detail White Embossing Powder. This is my favorite embossing powder lately. I use it for just about anything these days. And once I have my image coated with the powder, I'm going to use my heat tool and go ahead and melt it. Now, it does take a bit longer to melt the powder on this thicker paper, as I feel like more heat is required, but this only takes a minute to get a nice, smooth, melted image. To color this image, I'm going to do some ink blending, but before that, I want to cut this image out so that I'm not blending ink onto unnecessary parts of cardstock, as I want to reuse this paper for the rest of the stamping today. There are coordinating dies available for this Surf Sap stamp set, and if you plan to get this stamp set, I encourage you to get the dies as well, because the images are rather small, and they would be very hard to fussy cut with scissors. So here are the rest of the dies in this set. I've been keeping them on my main attraction. This is a big pretty magnet from Spellbinders, and I just have it sitting on my desk holding all of the dies that I'm currently working with. To do my ink blending, I'm going to use Duckling, Malibu, Scuba, and Deep Sea dye inks from Simon. Everybody loves to blend with Distress or Distress Oxide inks. I actually don't, and I prefer to do ink blending with my Simon inks. I love the colors, I love how they blend, and I just love the end result. I don't think it matters what inks you like to use for the ink blending, as long as you like the look that you get in the end. To make this blending an easier task, I'm going to use masking paper today. I've already created masks for the 3 parts of my image, the sky, water, and land, and I did so by stamping the circle landscape image onto masking paper and cutting it out with scissors. I'm going to mask the water and the land to be able to blend the sky. I'm using my Tonic Easy Clean mat here to protect my work surface. I had it misplaced and I wasn't able to find it for several weeks, but luckily I just found it as I was starting to film this video. It was tucked in one of the drawers, like in the very, very back of the drawer. I love using this mat. It's got something like a rubber pad underneath, so the mat does not slide off the desk and it stays in place nicely. I'm going to start with a Duckling color to add a little bit of light yellow halo around my island. I wanted it to look like the sun was just rising or just setting, although I later kind of forgot about that idea and I added a sun image to this scene, and that kind of upset the entire logic, but I still think it looks great. Next, I'm blending Malibu ink to create the majority of my sky. I so love this color these days. It is just perfect for summer. And finally, I'm going to blend a bit of Deep Sea to the very top of this circle to intensify that blue sky. I'm going back to the Malibu ink to smooth it all out, and I'm going to remove the middle part of the mask to reveal the land, and will now mask the sky. Next, I'm using same Duckling ink to blend the island, and I'm going a bit heavier on the bottom and lighter on the top, so just using one color. And once it's done, I'm going to remove the last portion of the mask, the water, replace the land mask, and blend water using Scuba ink. This is also a very pretty color for water. It's like that perfect sort of Laguna water. Once my ink blending is done, I'm going to move on to stamping a few other parts and pieces for my card. I'm using the leftover piece of paper, and I'm going to stamp all of the little elements from the Surf's Up stamp set. Now, I won't use all of them, and I don't know how many pieces I will use, but I just want to make sure that I have them on hand when I go to put my card together so that I do not have to go back to stamping. It just saves me time if I stamp more pieces right away. I'm using my Mini Misty stamping tool to be able to double stamp the images in Simon's Intense Black ink, as I will be coloring these images using my Copic markers, and this ink is perfect to work with alcohol markers. I'm going to do some very simple coloring, and I'm going to speed this part up quite a bit, as like I said, there's nothing new or special here in terms of coloring. I'm using my go-to Copic color combos today to get great colored results. A while back, I took a good hard look at all of my Copic colors and I grouped them together into combos. So I would have 1 or 2 color combos for green markers, then 1 or 2 color combos for yellow markers, for brown markers, and so on. I've been since using those predefined color combos whenever I do my coloring. It guarantees great results as I already know how the colors work and blend together and how they will look on a project. If you have just a handful of Copic markers, I suggest you also group them and identify color combos to make it easier to color. And I'm sure you already have some favorite Copic color combos, so maybe it's a good idea to spend some additional time and identify color combos for the rest of the color families. I recently got a few more colors of Copics, so my collection has grown, and I plan to be updating my color combos with the new color combinations soon. I just need to find the time to do it. I used coordinating dies to cut these images out in my Spellbinder's Platinum die cutting machine, and there are dies for every little piece in this stamp set, even for the little scent bucket and the starfish. And like I said, I do encourage you to get the dies if you get this stamp set, because they do make this stamp set much more versatile and much more, pleasant to use. I just can't put it down. I want to cut all of these little pieces out and put them on my cards. Next, I used foam adhesive squares and glue and adhered the pieces in place onto my ink blended background, forming a little scene. I am personally a huge fan of little images like these that allow you to create various scenes for your cards. I'm a huge fan of Lego, and these stamps are like Legos to me. I can build whatever I want, I can color the images however I want, and I can customize my project any way I like. To create a background for this card, I used a few word stamps from this stamp set and stamped them in Versamark ink for a watermark effect on a piece of sea glass cardstock. You can hardly see this stamping on camera, and you can actually hardly see it in real life, but this is exactly the look that I was going for. Very subtle and almost like it's not even there. The words that I'm stamping are summer, vacation, and surf's up. Next, I stamped a sentiment that reads, have fun. I foam mounted it onto the ink blended background, and now I'm just stamping a few seagulls in black ink, just filling my scene in. Once my stamping is done, I'm going to foam mount this circle onto my stamped background for a pop of dimension. Now, I've been enjoying using the Butterfly Kisses sequence lately, and I just love the colors in this mix. So I'm using a few here to dress up my card, and this finishes my video. Be sure to visit my blog for a full list of supplies and more inspiration. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't yet done so. If you are a subscriber but are not receiving new video notifications, check the bell icon on the homepage of my channel to get notified every time there's a new video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!